So in this video, we're going to talk about how to raise money. Hey, I'm Dan Kimball, a product specialist at Applos Software, and I've been a fundraiser for a long time. Been involved in a variety of different nonprofits, both as a volunteer, as a paid development director, and as a board member. And it's probably one of the most common questions a nonprofit has, which is that really important question of how do we raise money? Common question. Some people think, it's hard. Other people think it's easy. But I think there's just a couple core things we want to look at when we're talking about raising money. And I think at the heart of it, to get going is to really, instead of always thinking about, well, who are the top 10 rich people in town that we can call and ask for money? Look at it a little differently, because the reality about that approach is that every other nonprofit and church and faith-based ministry around town has probably thought of those same exact people. So my advice really when talking about how to raise money is look at the resources you have close by, like your volunteers, your board members, and the people that are passionate about your organization, and get them engaged and get them involved. One of the things that I like to tell people about raising money is it's kind of really simple. It's go, have conversations, meet people, share your heart and passion, meaning talk about your mission, listen to them and how they respond, and get them engaged. And I think from there, I think you'll really find a lot of success when raising money. So because I've been in fundraising for a long time, I've had the opportunity to fundraise at different levels. And of course, there are different ways to raise money. There's things like events, but there's also, you can do online fundraising where you set up like a GoFundMe kind of page or a campaign. There's of course a little bit more what we call major gift fundraising, where you identify people that have capacity and you present a proposal. You go to that person for a specific amount of money. So those are kind of the different, maybe some of the levels. There's of course grants, which we talk about in some of my other videos. But from a philosophical standpoint, I think at the starting point, you just want to ask, well, how much money do you need to raise? That's always just a core question, and then from there you can kind of break out. If let's say you need to raise $10,000, well, how much of it do you want to raise from individual gifts? How much of it do you want to raise from, say, a specific fundraiser? Knowing that some fundraisers, they might have a lot of excitement, but they might not raise as much money. Say like a car wash or selling hot dogs at a football game or something like that. You know that you can only have a certain amount of profit or donation from something like that. So you kind of want to break out, from the goal into the various channels or ways you want to go about raising that money. By establishing that amount up front and kind of working backwards, what you can kind of do is you can better assess, what resources you have. So for example, how much of the fundraising is going to take place by, say, your staff or yourself as an executive director, if you're the head of an organization watching this video. Or are you gonna have a group of people do a fundraiser for you, say like a volunteer group? Let's say you're going to do a cornhole tournament, which actually exists. I was actually in a cornhole tournament a few weeks ago, and it was all done by a group of volunteers that represented a nonprofit here in town. And so they did all the work, and then the staff just showed up to say hello and meet some of the folks participating. So what ends up happening is, and you can kind of assess, what resources we have, because if you are an agency that's like serving people or serving the public, you can't spend all your hours doing fundraisers. So it kind of helps you better assess what resources you want to put into what places. The other idea behind this is that you want to involve as many people as you can, especially your board members and your volunteers. A lot of people are afraid to ask their board members or volunteers to get involved in financially. And I really believe that is a really important part of raising money for your organization. I know that one of my experiences as a fundraiser is that when you mention the word fundraising or how to raise money, it intimidates a lot of people. Some people go, They will literally hide under the table because they're scared of that idea, or they think, well, I'm not good at that. But what things that I've kind of learned over the years is that it's really not asking for people for money as much as it is building relationships. And I think if you build relationships with people and you're willing to tell your story or a story about the work that's happening, you'll be really surprised how quickly people want to get involved. And then that asking part comes a lot easier, because a lot of times after a good story or a good relationship, they're just going to ask you, what do I need to do? How can I be involved? The value on focusing on the relationships versus just, asking someone you don't know very well for money right up front is, well, first of all, as put yourself on the other side of the table. How you feel if somebody you don't know very well says, hey, why don't you give me some money? Just like anything, you build trust, and that person kind of wants to get to know you, but also you want to get to know what their passions are, the things that they're interested in. So I've heard the term before that, well, fundraising is just like sales, and I actually don't particularly agree with that. I think that sales, at the end of the day, you're trying to kind of make a deal or really sell something. And I think fundraising, there's a more authentic part of that, and that what you're really doing is asking someone to become involved more than just a transaction. So what you're doing is you're taking it, and this is a term out there, you're going from a transactional relationship with somebody to a transformational relationship. And what you're doing is you're inviting that person, that potential donor, in, like kind of inviting them into your family, kind of idea. And so that's to me where the difference really lies. And it's a great place to focus on the people when raising money. What ends up happening is when you focus on people, and those people then become excited or engaged in your mission and the work you're doing, and then you figure out kind of what their passion points are, I think there's a much easier way to get them involved, and then they're going to become excited and want to raise money for you. And that can be doing events, and that could be, actually writing a check personally, or asking other people to what they call crowdfunding, to write a check on, because they are excited about that. So it's not to say that, you should only do events and not do this or the other way around, but the more people that you can get excited and engaged, the more people I think will want to raise money for you. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and you found a few things to be helpful. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below, or you can go to our website, aplos.com. That's aplos.com. We have tons of information for you there.